should the president do this is swirling around?
Just keep doing his job. I was back home Friday night. We had a Lincoln Day dinner I spoke at, and the crowd was huge, and they were so enthusiastic for the president fighting for what he told the American people to do. You know what's interesting, too, about these 81 letters that Mr. Nadler sent? What's interesting is who he didn't send them to. He didn't send all these people, 81 different entities, over 60 different people, but he didn't send it to the two most important, Glenn Simpson and Christopher Steele. Glenn Simpson, who was paid by the Clintons to put the dossier together, and who did he do? He hired Christopher Steele, a foreigner, to write the dossier that was the basis of all.
That's the list of all the people, by the way.
All those people, but not the two that count the most. In simple fact, the Clinton campaign paid the law firm Perkins Coie, who hired Glenn Simpson, who then went and hired a foreigner, Christopher Steele, who talked to a couple Russians, never went to Russia, put together this fake document called the dossier that the FBI used.
Manipulate.
Comey, McCabe, and all these people used, Strzok and Page used, to go to a secret court to get a warrant to spy on the Trump campaign. And that's what launched it all. And now we got 81 letters going to people, but none of them are going.
Before you impeach somebody, you have to persuade the American public that it ought to happen. You have to persuade enough of the opposition party voters, or the Trump voters, that you're not just trying to
steal. It's a very high bar.
Yeah, it is a very high bar. That you're not just trying to steal the last election, to reverse the results of the last election. We may or may not get there.
Persuading the American. Well, he says he obstructed justice basically 1,100 times, a breath earlier. So let's get the hearings underway. Let's get the vote underway. Forget the hearings. You don't need the hearings.
If you don't have the facts and you don't have the events, you just have a PR campaign. And that's basically what the Democrats are launching. All of them. And look, it's not just Jerry Nadler. You have David Cicilline on the Judiciary Committee who said the president went on a crime spree before he was elected. You have the chairman of the Oversight Committee, Elijah Cummings, who said that at the Cohen hearing there was proof that the president committed a crime. The problem the Democrats have is you can't use words like that, Laura, crime spree, crime, obstruction, without unleashing impeachment that you cannot control. And that's where this is heading in the Democratic-controlled House.
We witnessed what impeachment did to the country before. I was just getting going on TV when this was happening. I just started a show on another network the day the impeachment report dropped. And I think Republicans thought, we have them this time. How did that all work out for the Republicans back then?
It boomeranged. Republicans lost 5 seats in the House of Representatives in '98 right after impeaching Bill Clinton because the country wasn't there. And the country's not there for this now. Look, Laura, the first campaign I ever worked on, I was 21 years old, 1982, and I was told the incumbent Democrat did cocaine. I said, how do you know that? And they said, well, we don't really know, but that's what we heard. And that's when I realized in politics there's a tendency to criminalize, delegitimize whoever your opponent is, and I've always tried to resist it in politics. It's wrong when it was done to George Bush. It's wrong when it's done to Donald Trump. And the day that Donald Trump was elected, the Democrats went to overdrive trying to delegitimize him, and they've never stopped. They boycotted his inaugural. They had the phony dossier that was immediately leaked to the press. They unmasked Michael Flynn. They leaked his phone calls to foreign leaders. They tried to turn around the results in the Electoral College.
Relentless.
They've never stopped the delegitimization campaign, and that's what the last 2 years of collusion have been about. And that's what the next 2 years